many tracks in the sand this morning. The calls of lions are all that could be heard, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
You are live. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera, Sebastian. Now, it isn't just us driving out and about. Ali and Craig are on the other car, also searching for lions this morning. That's the name of the game. We are not going to stop until we find ourselves a big cat. Now, this is a live and interactive safari, so you're tag Safari Live on Twitter, and we will get them, and we will hopefully try and answer some of them. Now, I know there were a lot of you who were saying you could hear lions calling all night long on the dam cam. Very exciting. As Ellie was telling you in the pre-show, we had them right at our camp. So loudly, roaring right outside my window that they were vibrating. Right now, Ellie is a little bit further ahead of me. We're checking different roads. Let's go across to her and say good morning.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very exciting morning for all of us. My name is Ali, and on camera with me I've got Craig today, and we are busy trying to find some lions. If you wish to get a hold of us by any means during today, please use the hashtag Safari Live, and we are more than happy to get to you. I am a bit distracted because I'm looking very thoroughly on the road looking for lion tracks, because they have been roaring for the last 2 hours, but they were pretty much in camp, and now they've carried on. So I just want to see if perhaps they come along this area. I think maybe they've gone all the way north. I was kind of hoping they would start roaring. And so far all of their tracks head roughly east, so that's where we're all going. I wonder if there's actually after those buff we saw yesterday at Buffelshoek Dam. Alright, hopefully they are. Let's see, maybe something else around here. Right, sorry guys, I'm just trying to concentrate because there are lots of tracks on the road and lots of noises that are coming from everywhere, so I'm sure everyone's quite eager to see the lions just as much as we are. And by the sounds of it, they could be far from where we are, and they could have gone into Buffelshoek or Torchwood by the sounds of it, because they sound like they are somewhere along Buffelshoek Dam. There are other guys that are checking closer to the boundary, and we are checking down here just to see if perhaps any of them jumped out on the road, which we haven't seen yet. Let's see if maybe we can hear anything around here. Hazel, you think that maybe Buffelshoek Dam? I think that's what we all thought, but it seems like someone's found more tracks coming south from Buffelshoek Dam. So I think this is going to be one of those mornings where everything gets a bit more complicated. The Torchwood Pride. I don't think so. Ethan, you're saying lions would be great on Catcher Day. I agree, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? I can say they can hear a male calling. I can't hear it. Can you hear that? Did you hear anything? I think some of the guys are saying on the radio that they could hear a male roaring, but we couldn't hear anything from here. We're going to go down here and explore a bit more, but let's go to Taylor, who's also searching for them, and hopefully she'll have a bit better luck than us.
We are searching for lions now. I've done a very quick loop. I've checked Chele Pan, I have checked the dam on Twin Dams, nothing. So we're going back through Philemon's Dip again, and I think I'm going to go straight down Weaver's Nest and see if I can't anticipate one of the male lions, possibly the Birminghams, that have been calling throughout the entire night. So we're going to go all the way down there, and we're going to go straight along towards Cheetah Cut Line. It won't take us it will take us a couple of minutes to get there, but there are lion tracks going everywhere this morning. There are lioness tracks here, there are male lion tracks there. So they've been going in loops and loops. All I can say is that at 4:15 they were all outside the Djuma Research Centre, right at the car park where we park the vehicles. So from there they then sounded like they started moving sort of southeast away. And now we've had calls coming sort of further northeast. Obviously one of the boys, the males, have split off and gone down that way. So we're just going to see if we can catch any one of them. I don't know where the lionesses have gone though. Their tracks sort of start to seem to disappear around this area, which means to me that they haven't really come down this side. But I think we can only just check areas, and it seems like they are on the move. What I was really hoping last night is when I heard all that commotion, not last night, early this morning, was that the lionesses were going to catch one of those many wildebeest on the plains. They're not there anymore in quarantine, they're all gone. There were just a few impala, and those 3 zebra that we saw yesterday at Treehouse Dam, they were also there. So it wouldn't be a bad bet to maybe go and check down around Treehouse Dam and see what is at this. Just see whether it's the cubs. It's pretty difficult, not the Styx cubs, the Styx Pride. It's a bit difficult to try and get right now, because the Styx Pride were on. I did some lioness tracks that looked like they were coming from the south. So it could be either, and of course then yesterday afternoon. I'd like to see the entire pride again with some Birminghams. There's some more tracks going down this way. Let's just keep going and see if we can't maybe catch up to them. Yeah, there's tracks going down and up this road. I'm not going to stop to have a look at them, because otherwise we just fall further and further behind now. So we'll just try and catch up to wherever these cats are. However, I do have a feeling that they could have possibly crossed out already. So, any of these drainage lines, these open areas.
Seems like maybe Taylor's got to ward off a few of the gremlins. There's been one of the bee boys, I think, that's been far from the end of this road, so we're trying to make our way in that general direction, see if perhaps we get lucky and manage to see him, because apparently he is a bit on a mission, according to the guys on the radio. So we were definitely hearing them coming south all the way from Buffelshoek Dam, but if that is the case, they have walked a very long distance. Alright, seems like maybe he's gotten a bit tired and he has stopped moving for the time being from the updates that I'm getting on the radio. So hopefully we'll be able to get there. I can't believe how much they walked. Pretty much where the staff village sits is the middle of the property, and I don't understand this update, but we will try to get there nonetheless. Somewhere around here. Just need to check the trustworthy map. Maybe I've gone too far. Okay, I think it's actually on the other road. Sorry guys, got the update wrong and chose the wrong road. He isn't moving, so don't stress. Hopefully we'll get to see them. They are heading towards, one of them is just static on central Cheetah line between Central and Mamba Road. But just the one of them. So I'm sure the rest of the pride is somewhere in here, because we have definitely been hearing more than one lion calling. We shall get there. My goodness, it's very cold this morning. Okay, should be it. Alrighty, just a bit further. Lara Moore, you're one of the parents of the little cub. But not as far as I've been told. I think we've only managed to find one of the males, but I saw way too many tracks this morning to think that it's just the males that have returned. I also think that the mother, or she hasn't been seen again. So she's still those ones, and we heard them calling yesterday, or we just heard a female in between the two drainage lines where it sounds like she's been keeping it. So we haven't actually seen it again, nobody's seen it again, but there is that he's still in there somewhere. Now, I've just got to find a spot where to position ourselves. Is this a hole? Okay, I think we're gonna have to go a little bit around. So you see he is here, he is grooming himself. Just need to go around just to make sure that I'm not in everybody's way. Oh, sorry, Craig. I think maybe I'm gonna have to go slightly back. Or is that fine? I can go back.
This morning like you cannot believe. Perhaps scare them away. Right, so Ellie is, of course, she's found one of the Birmingham Boy. We're not too sure just yet who it is. Now I have come back towards Shibamo on Gari Main. I'm just quickly checking here. It's triple check. I thought I saw some leopard tracks. This is a very good spot for leopards to keep popping in. Okay, no, there isn't any leopard tracks. Just some old ones from the other day that have already been marked, like tracks. So our plan is, we'll just check a little bit further around here. Maybe we'll go in at Impala Plains. And, sorry, I was just making 100% sure they weren't leopard tracks. Go in at Impala Plains, maybe just go through over there, check a little bit of the way towards the and see out where they could have gone anywhere, really. Right, it seems as though Ellie's got into a better spot. Let's go across to her and the Birmingham.
Thankfully we did, because otherwise we would miss this beautiful sight of this gorgeous boy just starting to fall asleep. He keeps facing in that direction, so apparently he came from where he's looking at, and one of the other males carried on walking then onto the opposite side. Oh. You're not done for the morning. Right, I want to see where he is going to end up going towards. If he carries on going in this direction, then we'll be able to have a look. If not, then it's going to be tricky. Deborah, I think I've just gotten very, very lucky. Ah, the impala have spotted the lion from the distance and they're calling. Alright, let's see where it goes. Thank you. Did you have any tracks for the rest of them?
No, I think the one must be we saw from close to the lodge must be Zenkuuma. So
okay.
This one's a torchwood coming from the north.
Okay, alright. Just want to give Taylor this.
Right, I'm so sorry. There's so much going on. I know we're live at the moment. I just need to chat to Ali. Sorry, Ali, please can you go again with that whole message? Ah, okay, copy. Okay, cool. I've just actually picked up on female lion tracks coming in at Zoe's junction, so I'm just going to follow them and all the way back towards the pan and see if I can get them this way. Right, sorry about that. We're back though. We're just trying to figure out plans. I've got lioness tracks going down. Just going to go down the road here and check around Vulture's Nest. And then where else are we going to check? We are going to check around the dam again, like I said. Maybe we'll even just very quickly pop into this hyena den and just to see what's actually going on. Sure, but the gremlins this morning. My goodness. Ah, lovely. It seems as though the Mara team is up and ready, and they've also found themselves a lion. Let's go and say hello to Brent.
Welcome to the magnificent, marvellous Masai Mara, and we've got some of the best news possible. We're right up against the Ololo escarpment, and we found the sausage pride, but I think this is different two females to the ones we saw last time, and they've got two little cubs, but you can barely see them in that grass, and, well, they've disappeared into that grass. Oh, no, there they are. They're moving behind us. Now, we've got Dangerous Davey Stork bringing you these gorgeous pictures, and my name is Brent Leo Smith, and we're coming to you live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. Ooh, those girls look like they could definitely do with a meal. Now, we're still learning who and what all the lion dynamics are in this area, so it is always very exciting. Now, we've seen three females, from the sausage pride with cubs of about 5 or 6 months old. Now, this morning, just through the long grass, we saw a diving baby that looked quite a lot younger. I'm hoping they're going to walk up onto that termite mound shortly. And you can see how the lionesses stop and look back and are waiting for them to keep up. Come on, little guys. I've seen at least 2, but there could be more. And they've been very, very playful, charging through the long grass. So we just see little tails popping up. We don't actually see them too often. But I'm just going to move the vehicle. Hi, Dina. Dina says, woohoo! Catterday is starting off with a roar. Now, with the sausage pride, the last time we saw them, those cubs didn't look like they'd seen vehicles, so they were a little bit jumpy. So I'm keeping my distance at the moment. Oh, there's a cub. And just gauging their reaction so far. Right, Davy. There we go. There we go. Hello, little ones. And so far they're looking pretty relaxed. Now, looking at that female, she's got a very nice distinct notch out of her right ear. Now, I don't think that's one of the ones we saw before. There are 6 different females in this pride, and they do split from each other quite frequently. Now, as I said, I've been gauging their reactions. The reactions look quite good. Oh, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful shot, Davy. Oh, the floodplain of the Mara River in the distance. Kylie's wondering why are they called the sausage pride? Well, Kylie, it's because they like to pop into the local butchery and they're very fond of sausages. No, I'm joking, of course. They quite often are seen hiding or not hiding, but hiding from the biting flies. There's some big sausage trees in this area, and they can be seen sleeping in the boughs of the sausage tree. Now, we've got to be very careful off-roading this area. There are lots of rocks, termite mounds, and probably the most dangerous thing, aardvark burrows. And those aardvark burrows are often often inhabited by warthogs around here, and that is this pride's favorite food while the migration is not around. Yeah, I'm just going to scoot forward a little bit, Davy, and then I'm going to stop. We don't want to go tumbling into a warthog's home. Oh, look at the cub. He's coming closer to us, Davy. I'm going to stop now. It's curious. Hello, little guys. Those are much younger than the other three we've seen. I would say these guys, difficult to say in the long grass, but probably 4 months, maybe even a little bit less. And they came much closer to us to come investigate. Now, Mom, both the females have shown very little interest in us, and that's... Oh, off they go. Oh, jump! Wasn't this wonderful? Oh, it's so lovely to spend time with playful lion cubs again. It's been a while. Okay, let's keep up with them. Now, fortunately for us, it seems like they are heading back to the road. And you can lose roads here, but there's a big hole. And a big hole with water. That means we would get stuck in the mud. And be very careful off-roading here. You first gear, low range. You don't know what's in this beautiful long thermida grass. Just hope you guess correctly. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you do have any questions for us. There we go. They're going to pop out into some shorter grass. Oh, there's a tiny, tiny one. There's 3. So there we go. So definitely a different 3 cubs, all younger than the cubs we've seen from the Sausage Pride before. So that puts the current 6 adult females and 3 little bundles of... 6 bundles of joy. Well, some of them not so little. They're closer to 6, 7 months old. No, more! There's more cubs. They just keep coming out of the grass. There's 4 now. Isn't this awesome? How absolutely wonderful. 2 properly little ones. There we go. Who's about to be mauled by an older cousin or sibling. This is so cool. I really like this pride, or particularly because I really like this area. It does make them quite difficult to find sometimes because of the length of the grass. But when you do find them, it is just truly so worthwhile. Oh, look at this. Stalking. When is the pounce coming? There it is! Boom! Dina says she can't get over this gorgeous landscape. Neither can I, Dina. Okay, now come little ones, follow the big ones out. So I can you see these guys, I would say about 4 months old, 4.5 months old maybe. Maybe a little bit older. Let's just get forward a little bit. Let's get back onto the road. I think that's a road in front of us. Yes, Dave's up high. He confirms it is indeed a road. Now, make sure we find the right place to join the road. Quite often there's quite a big dip. You're holding on, Dave? Lara would like to know how old do I think the little cubs are. Lara, I'm just trying to get a very good view, but I would say probably 3 months old. But it is quite difficult. We're just catching snatches of them through the long grass. And we're going to try keep up with them. And at least they are moving parallel to the road, which is making our life a little bit easier for now. But they are properly on the move. And, I mean, I was quite impressed with my spot this morning, and I saw them from a really long distance. They were way up on the escarpment, and there's a little ravine up there with some big boulders, and I think those cubs might have been stashed there, and the females might have come to fetch them. They look quite hungry, but they're walking like they might have some meat somewhere. So we definitely look at that. They just basically vanish into that grass. Now, you be careful if you're a warthog. You come round the corner, and you'll find yourself a lioness on top of you, which is not ideal if you're a wart pig. But so it seems like Ali and I have managed to find some lions, but alas, poor Taylor is still searching.
I found lots of lion tracks though, Brent. Does that count? What we've done now is we've tried to figure out where exactly this pride of lions have come from. So there's a pride of lions on the property. Their tracks actually coming down towards us and back towards quarantine. We picked up on them on Zoe's coming from it seemed like the west, crossing in, going all the way up Philemon's cut line, cutting through the drainage, going across Rebecca's. We've seen them in this area before, and going straight to quarantine. So that's fine. I don't mind so much that I'm behind the tracks. I'm trying to get sort of everything together and figure out this puzzle. I'd rather know which tracks are older, which tracks are fresher. So now we don't have to worry about this area so much. We'll go back, we'll go and find out where the quarantine they would have used, and then we'll take it from there and then carry on. I think that must be one of the most confusing things when you are tracking, is because animals never walk in a straight line. They'll go one way, then they come back, and then they do a loop here, then they go that side, and then they do a big loop on the boundary, and then they're back in the property. And when you're first starting to pick up on track, it's very difficult to try and figure out which ones are the fresh ones or which ones are the first tracks that was laid down on the ground. So we're doing it this way. We're starting from the end, and we'll eventually get to where those lions are. Hopefully they're still around here on the property. Well, last night, I think I started telling you, there was a lioness calling for most of the evening, just sort of calling out very soft, shallow calls from the drainage line. Sorry. Okay, no, that's not an area we can drive. So yes, I think it is amber eyes, and to me, we've heard that calling, and I thought I heard it the other night too, but I wasn't sure if I was just imagining the sound. To me, that says that that cub is perhaps still alive. Maybe she's got more, we don't really know. So I think that that's a good sign, that we can still hear her calling away from the rest of the other lions hiding in those drainage systems. Maybe the rest of the pride is there with her now. So we'll check quarantine, and there's lots of little sneaky roads that I know to get down into those drainage systems, because well, we have driven them so many times, because at one point, you know, during winter last year, the Nkuhumas just lived between Hyena Road, Buffelshoek Dam, and all the way around here. So there's lots of old 2 tracks. It's really nice now that the grass is dying down a bit, so it is making it a little bit easier for us to see, but also to find those old roads that we once used to drive on. We can just sort of reopen them again if we need to, because remember, there's not going to be any walking to track that lioness at all. Now, James, a question from you wondering, do I think that lioness is, do I think that the cub is moving around with the pride now, or has Amber Eyes perhaps returned it to a den site? I think she's taken it back to a den site. I think that whole sighting that Ali had was very special and very, very lucky. It's not often that you bump into a little cub that young, unless you catch mom out and moving it to a new den site. So very, very lucky. I think it was the first interaction that they had with the entire pride. She obviously then moved off. She didn't carry on with her adventure with the rest of the Nkuhuma pride. She stayed behind, and then, like I said, I thought I'd been hearing her, and last night I confirmed that it is her calls that I have been hearing late at night from that drainage system. It's a very subtle call, so you've got to make sure you listen carefully to be able to hear it. And she's obviously looking for the rest of the girls, because I'm sure she would prefer it if they all stayed together, but that cub's still a little bit small, and that's why we've been saying, if we do find mom, Amber Eyes, and the cub or cubs, however many she's got stashed away, because we can't rule out that there aren't any others, we're going to have to close that sighting, because I was looking at pictures of the Southern Pride the other day, and I was looking at 2 cubs that they had quite late my end at Sabi Sabi, towards the end of my stint at Sabi Sabi, and those cubs were about 5 or 6 weeks old. They were much healthier. They were running around, you know, not really too clumsy on their feet. This one is still, even though it is feisty and fighting back, it just looks a couple of weeks younger. So I compared pictures from all the screenshots that you of course took, and I think that cub can't be more than 3 weeks, maybe pushing it 4 weeks old. So still a bit young for us to be viewing. So we'll close that area off if it is a den site, and the only time we might think about viewing it, and we need to try and be careful and limit it to a 1 vehicle sighting, is if Amber Eyes is with the entire pride and her little one is there, then we can view them. We're going to have to keep our distance. We're quite lucky we've got the great zooms on the camera, so we can get right up and in the action. But I think, actually, no, I want to go on the southern road. I missed my turn off. So yes, it all depends, I suppose. We'll see what we can find though this morning. I'm very excited. I'd really like to see some lions. Absolutely desperate. I've been lucky seeing so many spots, but you know what? Lions are actually my favorite cats. I really enjoy them. And then Kahuma Pride, they're just so fantastic. They're always putting on a show for us. I mean, they started off as tree climbing lions. The youngsters are really great, you know, always entertaining us. Little feisty cats fighting over carcasses, even challenging the Birminghams for a piece of steak on a buffalo. So I'd like to see that lot all together and all happy. Now I'm going to send you back across tomorrow now with Brent, who's actually got a pride of lions.
Well, we're still with these gorgeous lions as they traipse through this long grass. Now, I think they're on their way to some meat. And it's amazing. I can see the lionesses, but only hear the cubs scuttling through the undergrowth. Well, not really undergrowth, but through the long grass. But just the way the cubs are behaving, it's like they've been fetched and it's time for a meal. And there we go. Now, I heard there was a male lion that made a kill somewhere around here. Now, Kyle... Oh, look at this right in front of us. Oh, look at this. Hello, little monster. Oh, no. Oh, oh, she is gorgeous. Now, remember guys, sorry, I do need to get ID shots so we can work out ID kits on all the individual lions that are here. So I do apologize for the clicking of the camera, but when she looks at us, I am going to need to get an ID shot. My head okay, Dave?
Yeah.
Look this way, madam, please. So we're looking for all sorts of things. There we go. That's a nice side profile shot so we can count whisker spots. This is very peaceful here this morning. You can hear the ashy tits calling. Now, Kyle was wondering, is there more overlap in territories in the Mara than in the sands? Oh, excuse me. Oh, there we go. Kyle, I'll be in a second. Come on, front on. And she's got those very distinct ears. Just need her to look... No, not going to look straight at us just yet. But there we go. So that should be enough for us to form an ID kit for that lioness. Oh, she is very pretty. So, Carl, I would say probably yes, but not at this time of the year. I think when the wildebeest arrive, everything gets a bit different. But at the moment, so far, they seem to be quite set in the territories that they hold. And there will be sort of similar overlap that you would get in Kruger. A little one. Isn't that magnificent? Look at those muscles. Now I'm going to ask Darby to just come out wide, because this is a screenshot opportunity here. Look at that, with the Ololo escarpment in the background. Isn't that gorgeous? I think that's one of my favorite lion poses in the Mara, when those lionesses stand on top of those termite mounds. It's always better when a couple of cubs are bumbling around below as well. Okay, so I need an ID shot for the little one. Oh, look back here. There we go, that should do it. Oh dear, what's happening at Djuma today? Well, at least us here in the Masai Mara, we know how to hold on to a cat by its tail. Let's go see what happened to Ali's lion.
Leo Smith. I would really like to see Brent trying to hold a cat by its tail. Wouldn't that be the best sight ever? I put my money on the line. Well, beautiful that he carried and went back, but we didn't have a visual of him anymore. Impala somewhere around in the area and lots of vehicles around, so we just decided that, you know, always keeping the animal well-being in mind, that it was better if we back started and just give Taylor a hand.
Hello again. We're still bumbling about, but this time we're right here at WildEarthTV Dam, and of course Ali's being attacked by gremlins. Hopefully she is okay. Sorry about that, everybody, but an exciting morning nonetheless. You should have been able to see some really cool lions with Brent, which is exciting. I'm going to have to go back and watch the show when I get home this morning, so that I can have a look at those beautiful lions that you're all seeing in Kenya. Now, at WildEarthTV Dam, pardon Turtle Dove, thank you. I'm just deciding what I'm going to do. I think there's a 2-track that I want to go in. I want to go down and just check this drainage line and see. Actually, maybe we should do the one on the other side. Let's do that. Let's do a little loop here. The scenic way around. So there's a 2-track that comes in from the other side of Central and goes down. Sorry, I'm not listening to Ali on the game drive radio. I'm not concentrating. Now let me turn it off. So I've seen the Nkuhumas and actually Karula and her cubs in this particular spot. I can't even tell you how many different times. So I reckon if we maybe go in there, it's quite bumpy. There's an old mud wallow there that might have still got a bit of water in it, but there's a nice spot on the sand in the drainage line. So that's what I'm thinking. We should maybe go and check. Otherwise we have to go check Shortcut Gallagher, shortcut check around that pan too, and maybe even a little bit further that side. But I haven't figured out where the rest of those lion tracks go. They definitely come back onto quarantine, and they must have heard the calls of that lioness, and I'm sure that they would have been following the sound of her voice. Just check very carefully while we've got some height. Now, here's a question that I've been asked many different times, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guides that disagree. Now, and the question's from Grant. You want to know what is the difference between male and lion roars. Male and female lion roars. So a lot of people say that you can't tell the difference between the two. I think you can. I think depending on how close you are, you could quite easily. You can get confused. I find a male lion's roar is a lot deeper, and it feels as though he puts a lot more sort of soul and power into his roars, and they always last for a little bit longer. This is just my experience. Whereas a lioness roar is not quite as deep. It's almost like we're saying with male and female voices. We don't have as deep of a tone as the men do. We can obviously make a deep tone, but again, it's not that sort of gruff, voice, a hoarse voice that a lot of men do have. And it's the same with the lions. But this is, of course, all just my opinion. And like I said, the lioness, if a lioness is calling in the distance, you could quite easily mistake it from for a male that's very, very, very far away. So to me, it's just the tone and the pitch of the roar, and also the length. I've never heard a lioness call and call and call for as long as a male lion does roar. Remember, he's the one that's marking and defending the territory. He wants his voice to be known to everybody, any potential contenders in the area. So this is the old 2-track I was telling you about. See here, this nice sandy soil, so I might be able to see some tracks. Nothing yet. Looks like a hyena has come down in here though. Here's one of the mud wallows. This one is dried up, but there's another one down in here too. Let's see. Woo. Right, now which way do we go? Now, as we drive around here, I'm doing a little bit of off-roading. I'm just trying to find the track. I think I've got to go around this way. Michael, you were wondering why do they roar? What is the reason for this? Are they calling for a particular reason? Yes, they are. The males in particular, they're telling everybody to stay away. Any other male lions, this area is occupied. And then for a female to roar, normally she's trying to locate the pride. Though sometimes you get really lucky, it doesn't happen too often. I've only experienced it a couple of times where you'll have the entire pride roar together. That is amazing. That is something so special. Especially, I've had the whole Southern Pride roar before, so it was 2 Charlestons and 5 lionesses, and the cubs were trying their absolute best, but they couldn't really roar just then. They were making strange noises, but that was so beautiful to hear that. Deafening. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear anything else around you. You could put your hooter on your horn, and you wouldn't even be here. It would drown out with the sounds of the lion roars. So this is this area I was talking about. So the lioness is, like I said, she'll just be calling to try and regroup perhaps with her pride if she was separated. Okay, so here's one pan. The spot that I'm talking about is just in there, and I've got to find a way down. I'm trying to think. There's a big tree there. We'll go the scenic way around here. Just have to go through quite some thick bushes. Whee! Right. We're going to have to squeeze through some really tight gaps here. Hopefully we're going to find some lions laying out, waiting for the sun to warm them. Ellie, however, is choosing a different way to warm herself up.
And my coffee cup is perhaps about this big, and I think it's one of the biggest ones around. My Italian blood does not lie. I like coffee in big quantities. Right, I'm sorry about all the gremlins that I've had to fight this morning. Hopefully they'll leave us alone for a little while, and I just want to try and check around, give Taylor a hand. So we've left that boy that was moving into Torchwood far west, so we didn't have more or a longer visual of him. I'm not too sure. He could be coming back at some point and, you know, just zigzagging like this, but also because it's in a gut line, so many cars around it, so I just thought, keeping the animal being in mind, that we are going to leave him. So now we are on to more lions. Hopefully, we haven't seen any tracks around here. I know Taylor is hot on their tracks, and I'm sure Taylor will be able to hold on to their tails once she finds them. Hopefully she will. But we'll carry on searching for them all around here, because I'm sure they're not too far. It's just been a complicated morning, because we've had 2 different prides of lions, 2 different females roaring, and one from very close to camp, the other one pretty much on the other extreme, and then we've had the boys coming up and down in between them. So it's been interesting. But by the sounds of it, I think the Torchwood Pride, which is the one that we heard calling close to Buffelshoek Dam, they've gone further east and north away from us, and then the Nkuhumas, we haven't heard them again. But I know Taylor's got the back, so big hopes for her. Here. I don't think they've been around here. There's another line where Amber Eyes was spending a lot of time. So maybe the guy in there. And see how they're going.
sadly, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere just yet, but all we can do is just check areas now and hope that we bump into them. I'm not sure where they would have gone. These lions, they confuse me. They are so good at hiding, it's absolutely ridiculous. But like I said, we can only do our best and try. So we've now checked this area. I'm wondering we should maybe quickly go past the dam and check Gallagher shortcut and see if there's any lioness tracks around there. And then if not, I don't know where we're going to check next. We'll just drive until we find some animals, because the only thing I have seen this morning was when I first started, before the show had even started, I saw a herd of impala and then those 3 zebra we saw yesterday, and then that was it. That's the only mammals we've seen so far. And a turtle dove on the road, I asked very politely to please move off of the road. That is the extent of our animal sightings so far. But I'm also not surprised with the commotion that was going on quarantine last night. That's enough to sort of chase away every single animal. Like I said, the wildebeest herd are nowhere to be seen. They can't. When they'll come back, I'm not sure. The McCurdy-hurdy hasn't been around for quite some time. That's very pretty. How do you feel about that dove sitting on the edge of that stick over there? We've got a nice little silhouette of a bird, and let's see if it's going to actually stay here. I hope it doesn't fly away. Now ideally, as we look at this, looks like a turtle dove sitting on a dead branch. It would be really nice if one of the lionesses would do a soft contact call. The area is so thin at the moment, it's nice and cool, so that sound is going to travel a lot quicker, and then hopefully we're going to be able to find them that way. That would be the best way. It's just like I said, they've been walking all over, up and down. Bye bye birdie, off we go. But a beautiful silhouette of a turtle dove nonetheless. I'm really hoping that they have made a kill and are feeding on it some way, because that would help as well. Even if they stay on the property, if we don't get them this morning, it just gives us another opportunity, of course, to get them in the afternoon. Now, obviously we've been chatting quite a bit about the change of season. It's definitely getting here. And Geeky, you're wondering, why are the lions coming onto the property more often? Well, I think they're coming here, the lionesses, because Amber Eyes has chosen to den on Djuma and to have her cubs. So I think they come back and look for her and spend a bit of time with her and then carry on and move off, which is also not uncommon. I saw it a lot with the pride of lions down in the Eastern Cape. They constantly would visit a den site, but then move off to go hunting and just come back every other day type of thing. I think a combination of things. The buffalo are slowly going to start coming this way. Also, we've got big herds of wildebeest, a couple of zebra around. So there's definitely opportunities for them to get food. So I think there's a number of different reasons as to why they're coming onto the property. Amber Eyes calling being one of them, luring them this way, and then also them searching for food. I haven't heard any reports of big herds of buffalo sort of coming onto this western Gowrie sector. There are definitely some herds in the Manileti that come down to Sydney's dam to drink. So I think they're just waiting for one of those herds to pop up in this area. And then, once they've got one, they're just going to follow them around all the time, which will be exciting. So it's good that this grass is dropping now. It's what we need. The animals love this short grass, and I think it's going to be soon. I still think at the end of June, sort of the last week of June, we're going to see our first really big herd of buffalo. That's my bet, and I can't wait. I can't wait for that day. I love herds of buffalo. I always remember trying to find the big herds after a night of sleeping and still get there while they were sitting down, haven't quite woken up yet, and then finding a gap, weaving your way very slowly through the herd. They're quite relaxed buffalo. You just about could push your way through them, and they just turn and look at you like they don't care. And then sitting amongst a herd of buffalo and then waiting for them to wake up. The sounds, the smells, it's just an amazing experience. So Ali is just ahead of me. I think I've picked up some more lion tracks. I'm going to jump out and have a look. She's on Gallagher shortcut. Hopefully she'll find some more cats.
So far no luck. We are looking somewhere around here, perhaps for any tracks or any signs that they might have come this way. They have been doing so for quite a while, so that's why me and Taylor are wanting to check. But I'm checking the Gallagher shortcut, and then Taylor, I believe, is checking the shortcut. but so far no luck. I haven't been able to see any tracks or hear anything, and no luck. Kim, you're wondering if we look for the animals at night when we hear them. Yes and no. So, sorry, I just want to look at this tracks here because they're looking like a hyena. So last night when we heard them calling, because it was 4 o'clock in the morning, all we did was put our heads up, and I think, well, actually the lion almost put his head in Taylor's room and he started roaring right outside the camp. And all you can do is just try and get a bit of an idea of where they're roaring. But at that time of the morning, we're not allowed to go out driving. So we've got to wait until a specific time before we're allowed to jump in a vehicle and start looking for creatures. This is done for security purposes. The Zabisan doesn't allow us to be driving at a certain hour out in the property, just because they are doing their anti-poaching patrols and everything else, and just to make sure that everyone is where they're supposed to be. So as much as we thought we would like to go looking for them, we were not allowed to so early in the morning. But they were so close to us, which is why it's frustrating. Is this a lion track now? Carry on. Lots of hyena tracks here. Oopsie. Seems like one of the guys just found some lion tracks crossing onto Buffalo's Hook, but I'm not too sure if he's been tracking the Torchwoods or he's been tracking the same ones as what we have, and I think it might be a different one. Alright, let's go for Taylor, who's searching for lions behind us as well, and see if maybe she's got any luck and she spots the tracks that we've missed.
Well, no, not yet, but what I have is I saw some buffalo tracks going down towards this drainage line right in front of Vuyatela Lodge. I think I'm going to do a loop. We just passed Gallagher Pan now. There's no lion tracks this side. The ones we had were old lioness tracks, so they were lion tracks there, but they were from a few days ago. Remember from Amber Eyes moving in and out of these drainage systems. I think let's go towards Vuyatela Dam. All the guests are out now. Like I said, I'm not walking. Not any amount of money that someone would pay me to walk into those drainage systems, knowing that there's a little cub down in there, I won't do, because I think it's just a very silly thing to do. But however, I will go in a car, absolutely no problem. So I think maybe we need to actually take the vehicle along that very small fence that runs in front of Vuyatela Lodge into the drainage line and go around the bend, sort of go slightly west, and maybe that way. That sounded like where the calls were coming from. We'll find something. That's also this area that those buffalo tracks are going into. I can't go in from this side though, it's just too thick. There's a wall of tamboti trees, so that's impenetrable, and I'm not going to be driving over them. So we'll try to go the other way, and there is a very easy entrance that we can use. But no leopard tracks this morning, or none that I've seen, and I've checked quite a few areas now. I'm just trying to work out where on earth these lions could be. Just go back, I just want to double check something. No, this is hyena walking here, coming in and investigating. Right, but no lioness tracks just yet. Just triple checking, because you know what these girls are like with the cooler weather. They could still be moving around now, and they could quite easily walk straight over a route that we've already driven. So it is important, even though these roads have just been driven, to keep checking. Very nice. Now, hopefully we're also going to find some other animals like elephants or buffalo this morning. Brent is, of course, still sitting with some lions, and I believe they're posing beautifully.
Wow, we're still with the sausage pride, and they've just stopped on top of a termite mound at the moment. And we had a view of a hyena in the grass. We can't see it now, but that's what they're watching and seeing in that area where that hyena disappeared. Oh, hungry little ones. Mom's not so keen. Oh, they're starting to complain. Ow. This is just too sweet. Mary is wondering, do the females always have a natural curl in their tail? Now, Mary, I would say yes. I mean, it's muscles around bone, and it curls and flicks like that so the cubs can follow it through the long grass, which we've seen here is far more important than in Djuma, because the grass is just so much longer and thicker. It looks like they're going to get moving again shortly. And as I said, I heard there was a male lion who'd made a kill somewhere up around here. But while we were looking for him, we spotted these guys coming down the mountain. And I think they collected the cubs from up there. Or what it looks like, we might be taking a break. It's such a prey-rich area. And as I said, most of the time they're feeding off buffalo. Warthog. The males feed a lot off buffalo in this area, and the females tend to stick to warthog, and it makes sense in this really long grass. They probably surprise them quite easily and quite frequently. Lady Starfire says, will the grass be that long all year round? Well, currently on their way going are about 1.5 million wildebeest who are going to flatten this grass. So it won't be this long all year round. And once the wildebeest move off sort of September-ish, and there'll be very little grass around actually. And then November, the rains start again, and the grass makes this miraculous recovery. Now, a lot of grass species actually need to be grazed to grow nicely again, and that's probably why we've got, it is why we've got these beautiful big seas of grass here in Kenya, and it is because of that constant once a year feeding that happens. Oh, where are you off to, little monster? On a mission? A disappearing mission into the long grass. Now, will one of the others decide it's time to jump on you? Yes. Just can't leave a little cousin or sibling alone. Have to harass. You can see all those flies all over her. Ray would like to know, what do the lions eat when they can't find prey? Well, if they can't find prey, they don't eat anything, because everything they eat is prey. So if they can't find prey indefinitely, they'll die. But of course that doesn't happen too often, and they can go up to sort of 10 days without a meal. But I don't think I've seen a lion in the Mara that's looked that hungry. There is a huge amount of game. We can't always see it because of the long grass, but there is just a huge amount of animals here, even when the Great Migration isn't here. A very peaceful scene now as the females peruse over the grassland. I think they're just maybe making sure that it's only a single hyena that wandered past and not multiple before they try and move the little ones again. Oh, are we going to have a little break? It looks like they're going to take a little time out. Oh, look at that. I know that didn't look very comfortable or very dignified, madam. But they're going to take a little break, and we're going to just go have a look. There's some rocks up ahead where I think there might be a kill, but I'm not 100% sure. They just keep looking in that area, and that hyena was wandering around there. But while we do that, let's see how Taylor's search for lions in South Africa is going.
I've taken a break from looking for lions. Just a quick breather. We're looking at a grey heron at the moment, the one that lives between Buffelshoek Dam and Vuyatela Dam. And it is just warming itself up in the sun at the moment. Now, those buildings that you can see, that is, of course, Vuyatela Lodge. So you know that we have arrived in the spot that we need to in order to head down into the drainage line. So we're going to head around there now. We just can't go the way I wanted to because there's still too much water around, and I don't want to, unfortunately, get stuck. That would be terrible. So right, let's go around here. We'll find a little way down, and I'm having a good chuckle at the moment because I'm confused. The freshest lion tracks are the ones that go down into where camp is. They don't come out. Ali and I are now starting to think if the lions are just maybe lying between Gallagher Lodge and the Djuma Research Centre. That's definitely a possibility. So Ali's going to go and quickly just check in there. It sounds really silly, and then we're going to go into this drainage line, and hopefully between the two of us we are going to find the Nkuhuma Pride. They're here. They're definitely here somewhere. No one has called in if they've got any tracks crossing out of the property. So it could just be literally right underneath our noses. Now let's go in here somewhere, find a little gap. Let's go into low range. Okay, down we go. Now we've got to find the smoothest entrance. You might even see me on the dam cam if you're watching the dam cam. A few little shrubs here. Lots of buffalo bones in this area because they did take down lots of buffalo last year. Now, Wild Earth girl, you're wondering how on earth we managed to sleep with all the lions roaring, or the lion noise. Well, it depends. You do get used to it. I hear it. I sleep with my window open so that I can hear what's going on at night and make sure that I don't miss anything. But this morning, like I said, I jumped up because I first heard running. I didn't actually hear the roars first. I heard something that sounded like it was running right outside camp. It was obviously the lions. Whether they were getting a bit frisky and just playing, I'm not sure. So anyways, charging about, I then sat up in my bed going, it's a bit strange. And then those roars started from the two of the Birmingham boys, and my window panels were shaking. They were probably not more than about 40 meters from my window. So it was quite crazy. So yes, that woke me up at 4 o'clock just after 4 this morning. That most certainly did. Otherwise you get quite used to it. You get used to the hyenas. The hyenas are just becoming more of a nuisance than anything because they'll come through camp and then they start trying to drag, you know, all sorts of things that you've touched out, and you hear them, and then you've got to open your door and shout, and the hyenas run away. It's quite exciting living the bush life. You might, Megan just said that you are watching me drive off into the drainage line. Let's hope we don't get stuck. I haven't been in here in ages, actually. I've come down here a few times, but quite a long time ago. It was definitely a lot drier. This was all sand. There was no grass and no vegetation around here. And I just thought we might as well poke our nose in. It's a nice spot. I would lay here, but I think the sand is going to get very thick and no one has really driven on it, so we'll just go up and around as long as we can see. Morning, babblers. Let's see if we can say hello to the babblers. Seems like we're having more of a birding morning. Don't fly. Where are you sitting? See, it's no. One flew. That means the other one is going to fly. Yeah, you might have heard them chattering over the sound of my voice. Okay, we'll just go around here, but we can still see between that little fence and the drainage line. Keep checking these animal pathways to see if there's any tracks. No, just impalas and Inyala tracks. keep going. We'll stick on this big animal pathway because it sort of opens up a little bit, otherwise everywhere else is pretty thick. Whoop, mind that buffalo thorn, mind that acacia. We don't want to be pricked by thorns, of course. We'll just, like I said, this animal pathway is actually helping us out a huge amount. Okay, so guarri trees on the left, that's alright. Little leadwoods on the right and a knob thorn. We'll avoid those ones. Whee! Did Ali find the lions yet for me? Now, Ori, you're wondering if the grass is going to remain high in the dry season. No, I'm not going to go over that log. No, it's going to drop down quite a bit. It should be less than what it is now, but because of the late rains that we had, of course the grass is a little bit greener, or it's more yellow now, but a little bit longer than what it should be. So that's why I say I think we're only going to see the buffaloes returning towards the end of the month. Normally at this time of the year already, animals will be around all the watering holes, but not just yet. There's still the mud wallows drying up. Some of the drainage systems have got quite a bit of water into. I just want to poke my nose in here because we couldn't see from the other side, and there's this whole area just in here. It's long grass, quite a bit of guarri trees, and there could definitely be quite easily lions just sitting about. So I'm just going to sit for a moment and just have a little listen to see if we can hear any rustling. No. Very quiet. Okay, no. Nothing here. Right, let's try and get out of this little pickle now. Wee! Sorry, I just have to concentrate when I go backwards. To concentrate more when I go backwards than when I go forward. Right. Whee! Oh, my goodness. You know what, Brent? You are just showing us all up today, aren't you? But I'm so happy for you. Brent has found the kill he was talking about earlier.
Well, we've got all the lion luck today, as we've now... Oops, sorry, I'm trying to find my monitor. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, there it is. And, the lionesses and the cubs have found the male. Now, we're not sure exactly which male this is. There he is. Good-looking boy. And he apparently took down this buffalo all by himself. Oh, listen to this. Listen to those flies. And, the description that Dave gave as the lionesses arrived and the flies took off en masse was that it sounds like Connor's flying his drone. Oh, look at that, first of the cubs to arrive. Everyone's hungry. Isn't this so cool? Now the little ones are still coming in. They're quite close to the male. They might go greet him. Here we go. Hi, Dad. Oh, look at him. He's playing with them. Oh, sweet. He doesn't know what to do. He's like, oh no. Oh no, a child. A child. What do I do? Well, Jay is wondering how often is there turnover on the dominant male lion coalitions in the Mara. It's difficult for us to say. We haven't been here long enough, and I think that's one thing we're going to only know for sure in time. But I would say it's not as high as you would think, just because there is such a high density of food, and the coalition territories are not as big as they need to be in other places. But also, it seems like one coalition moves a male coalition out and then they go join another pride. So, getting smacks Mom's much more hungry than you. You've been topping up on milk, you little greedy gutses. Well, the female on the nose has actually got the tongue out of the buffalo. She's pulling the tongue right out of the buffalo. So if there are any sensitive viewers, we do warn, this might not be for you. So what I think happened here is that male lion caught this buffalo snoozing in a mud wallow, which is right next to them here. Just to the left of the male, there's some water, and I think that buffalo was snoozing in there and got caught unawares. The little cubs are a little bit nervous. You probably find they haven't spent too much time around the males. And you see them there, Dave? And they're coming very, very slowly and very, very cautiously through the long grass. Deborah is wondering if the mortality rate of the cubs is similar from Djuma to the Mara. I don't know yet, Deborah. I think, again, it's one of those questions we're only going to be able to answer with more time spent. But I would say it's probably similar, if not maybe a little bit higher, just due to the amount of hyenas that are around. Family altercations over the dinner table. Michelle's wondering, will the males usually share their kills with the females? Yes, Michelle, especially if it's a big carcass and he's already eaten a lot. He won't have a problem sharing with the females. Oh, little cubs heading back to go play with the male. It's always a dangerous game, but you can see the older cubs are slightly more confident. Oh, he bit Dad on the bum. Oh, cheeky little thing. But you see that they're not that hungry. They're very full on meat or milk, or a combination of. Oh, next cub to bite Dad on the bum. Naughty little ones. And we can hear what I've dubbed the soundtrack of the Masai Mara in the background, which is that Rufus Nate lark. Now, obviously that hyena we saw wandering around has smelt this carcass, but it was only a single hyena, so maybe hasn't called it enough backup to think about challenging a big male lion and the lionesses on this carcass. Now the little guys are slowly coming closer and closer, but they are still a little bit nervous. Oh, shame, little guys. It'll be okay. Now, if you notice on the shoulder of that buffalo, there's a lot of white stuff. You see that, Dave? Do you know what that is, Dave?
Oh.
No idea. Those are fly eggs. And by the looks of things, yeah, they're eggs. Most of them. They haven't managed to manifest into maggots just yet, have they? Are there some maggots in there? We can have a closer look. Dave's going to give us a closer look. No, it's still just eggs, but I'm sure there's maggots inside. Oh, on the ground. See how they've moved?
There.
There we go. There is a writhing sea of maggots. Tina's wondering, how old is this kill? As far as I know, it's only a day and a bit old, and it doesn't take long for maggots to arrive, the flies to arrive, and also there's a lot more flies here than we're used to down in the Greater Kruger. Remember, this is coming to you 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And if you've got any questions like Tina just had, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Look at that incredible power, how they're moving that carcass around. Well, we're going to wait here. I'm definitely can't wait for those little ones to get up enough courage to come and join the rest of the females and the cubs on the carcass. Oh, male's up. And where are the little cubs? They've disappeared into the long grass. He might be just going, got to get away from these boisterous youngsters that keep nipping me on my behind. He might be just going to go find some shade to have a snooze in or have a drink. Now, I'm just going to have a quick look to see if the cubs now notice the males a bit further away, the little guys, and decide to come in. Not yet. They're watching where the male went. Oh, well, okay, we're going to stay here, see what else happens, see how this plays out. While we do that, let's send you all the way back to Ali in South Africa.
Well, it seems like they have found the Nkahumas, and I believe all 6 cubs are there, so the tiny one is not there, in case you guys were wondering. But unfortunately, they've gone all the way to Buffalo's Hook, so it's an area that is outside of our traverse, and we can't really go there. But good to know that the females are there, the cubs are there, and that in general everything is going well for the rest of them. And I can't believe just, they must have crossed when we started hearing them this morning at 4 o'clock and then carried on going north. And I'm sure there's been a lot of commotion in the lion world. It seems like, the torchwoods are quite at a distance from them, but they were also roaring this morning, and then we had that one male also in the distance. So my goodness, it was a crazy morning for all the lions. But it seems like they are settled for the day. They're not moving anymore, and I reckon they're going to stay around there. So they didn't give us a full report of how many females were there, so I suppose we'll have to carry on guessing until we manage to see the rest of them. So, having had all this adrenaline pumping through all of our bodies for pretty much the better part of this drive, let's maybe try to look for something else and see what else there is around here. The sun is starting to shine, everything's warming up, so I'm sure everything is gonna start coming out. But I believe you guys have also been spoiled to some fantastic lion sighting this morning, with tiny little ones as well, having breakfast all the way in the Mara. I'm sure Brent is enjoying it very much, and I know his heart goes all warm and fuzzy inside when he sees the lions, but he won't say it out loud because he's got to be a big tough man. But I know him better than that. I know he's melting. Alright, let's maybe have a look at the hyena. Let's see if anybody's around there. Maybe we'll see, although I have a strong feeling they might not be around because of all those lions roaring earlier on. Has any station checked the Misikaya this morning? Nope. Okay, copy. I'm pretty much right here, so I'll just let you know. Alright, so nobody's gone and checked, so fingers crossed there'll be a little cub of another species in there, or if not a little one, at least a decent sized one, and we'll be able to see them. Let's see. Whoop. Heading in. I have found that the last few times that we've had the lions walking so close to them, and with all this roaring, the hyenas tend to be shyer, and as they should, because they've also got little ones that they've got to protect. So just to keep them inside is probably the best thing. And I did see ones I was in the Timbavati, and one of the guys showed me over there this very horrible video of a male lion. He was walking and he approached a hyena den, and then he just dug one of the little ones out, and it was a very gruesome video. So every time we hear the lions coming around, you almost like hold your breath when we hear that they're coming towards the hyena den. Seems like our gals here are all safe and tucked away. I can't see anyone from this side, so let's maybe go and have a look around on the other side. Perhaps there will be some there, like the other day when he came around the corner. Seems like coming around the corners are actually the lucky trick. Should go into just very windy roads. Maybe we'll get a bit lucky. But no, nobody's around here. Alright. And I think we're just gonna have to move off, because there is no one is at home. Let me just update the mic. Mic for Ali Mike. Yeah, mic is not active. Mike, sorry, the Misikaya is not active. Alright. Let's see. Where else should we go? Now we've got to try and find an area where maybe some of the lions have not walked in recently, because I'm sure around there then the animals are going to be a bit skittish. Can you imagine hearing your biggest fear roaring right next to you? I'm sure everybody just moves off and starts moving elsewhere. But I think maybe let's make our way towards Treehouse Dam and Twin Dams. It's starting to warm up, so perhaps some of our spotted friends will be somewhere around there. You never know.